Welcome to Fandom
and Wellness,
a podcast about the complex relationship between fandom and mental health.
Disclaimer, we are not psychiatrists or psychologists. We are just fangirls with a vested interest in mental health. I'm Arkeida.
I'm Jenny.
And I'm Danielle. And this week we'll be talking about The Nightmare Before Christmas.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Obviously, this is our Halloween episode.
For those who couldn't tell,
our everyday episode.
Yeah. So, how old were you guys when you first saw the movie, and what did it mean to you?
So, this movie actually came out when I was like 2 years old. So I definitely didn't see it when it came out. I think I saw it when I was like 11 or 12 for the first time. So like a long time or some time had passed. And it was a fun movie. I think, you know, it was something that I enjoyed because it seemed different than all of the things that I was used to seeing at the time, which really the movies I was seeing was just Disney movies. So it was like a different kind of Disney movie.
It's pretty spooky for a kid's movie.
It is. I enjoyed that. It was a movie that was spooky, but I wasn't too afraid of it.
Yeah, I didn't see this until I want to say freshman in high school when I was already, you know,
even older. Yeah.
Super goth, super punk, whatever. And yeah, and I just like immediately loved it. What about you, Jenny?
I don't really remember when I saw it. I just remembered that I've seen it before, and it was fine. It was fine. It was nice. It was good.
I saw it. My art teacher played it one day in class, and I watched it with my friends in that class, and I was just like, "How have I never seen this?"
I will say that rewatching it as an adult, I think I enjoy it more than I would have than I did as a child. And I think it's just because I missed so much. I missed so many details when I was younger. And now that I'm older and I'm like, oh, I'm actually smart. I can pay attention. Like, you catch on to a couple of things that are...
But you were smart then, too.
I mean, I wasn't stupid, but like... that common sense factor of 11-year-old me was not there.
I don't remember the more creepy scenes, like the kids singing about kidnapping Santa. Likely because I blocked that out of my mind, because that's super fucked up. I also realized that nothing kind of happens for like a very long time.
Yeah, I'm okay with that though, because I think the songs are so good.
Yeah, I definitely had the soundtrack, and I think they had re-released it not even a few years ago, like a good decade ago, where it was all covers.
Yes.
I had that.
Yeah, it's like metal covers.
Metal covers, Amy Lee's cover of Sally's song, yep.
Yeah, this is the movie that I know literally every single line to.
Wow.
And I was like sewing one day while it was playing in the background and just like saying all the lines. And I was like, oh, that's happening. Okay.
It's just like muscle memory almost,
yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you both obviously know that me and Ben got married just as Jack and Sally.
Mm-hmm.
So like my wedding dress romper was Sally, and he had a Jack suit on, and then all of our like groomsmen and bridesmaids had like lock, shock, barrel, Oogie, all of them,
right,
and whatnot.
So cute,
like themed Disney bound outfits on.
I enjoy that Disney bound. I'm gonna make that a thing. I'm gonna do a Disney bound.
I only finished my dress because Arkeida and I finished sewing it together on the party bus on the way to and from Coney Island.
Oh my god!
I was like, oh my god, hand sewing. I don't do that ever.
I was like, hi, please sit next to me and help me. And she's like, yeah, okay.
Who's so young and eager and willing. But I think I enjoyed it. It was a fun wedding. It was beautiful. You guys dressed as both Jack and Sally. So I guess with that, I kind of want to segue into like Jack Skellington and his depression. I also rewatched this movie last night just to preface this, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, wow, he is in super denial. Like, he just does not want to get help. Like, I was watching it last night, and I was like, dude. What about you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, I think this whole movie would have been like 3 minutes long if it was just like him listening to Sally and going to therapy.
Right.
Yes. Honestly, she was telling him, this is wrong, you shouldn't do this. This is going to end badly.
Yeah. I view, I mean, I don't know if anyone listened to our healthy escapism episode with Taylor Dethridge, but I view him taking over Christmas Land, or Christmas Town, or whatever, as unhealthy escapism.
Yes. Very much so, in a destructive way for himself and everyone around him. Yikes. Oh, man.
Yes. I think a lot of people like Jack's character because, like, his depression humanizes him.
Yeah, and it's like, it almost gives people permission to, like, be revered and celebrated and still be depressed. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
You don't have to have a super shitty life to be depressed. Sometimes you're just depressed, you know?
Yeah, it reminds me of, like, Robin Williams and, like, other famous celebrities. I mean, I bring him up because he's, like, the one that I think of when I think of, like, a celebrity who really, like, made people laugh and entertained people. And when he died by suicide, everyone was like, wait, what? How can someone that, like, quote-unquote happy be that depressed? So I think that Jack's depression and his songs about, like, Jack's lament and whatever, about how, like, no one can understand how he's feeling, it really shows how, like, someone who, according to, like, the public eye, basically, like, has it all, can still feel like they're missing a huge chunk from themselves.
Right.
And just, like, yeah. And, like, the loneliest feeling is to just feel like nobody understands you.
Right.
I mean, to add on top of all of that, he is kind of the king of Halloween. He's the one that does all of the planning with the city. So he must feel an immense amount of pressure, and all he wants is, like, to step away.
Yeah.
Even if only for a brief moment, but he never gets that chance.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone looks to him. What were you saying about Sally?
She kind of sees that, like, she follows him, and, like, she can see what's underneath that, like, jovial, entertainer kind of facade, you know? And she feels exactly the same way, so...
Yeah. Okay, this is a critique I've heard a lot of Sally, is that she stalks Jack. And I just want to say, Sally was already in the graveyard when Jack walked into it. She was on a mission to get some fucking poison, and Jack came in, and she was like,
that's true.
Oh, hey, what's, like, the, like, king of the frickin' town celebrity singing about? Oh, shit, he's depressed. Now I love him.
I mean, is that not how we all fell in love with our crushes?
Yeah, like, oh, they actually have feelings.
Yeah. But you're right. It's not stalking. Like, she was there, and then he comes up with this bright idea, and the entire time she's like, don't do this. Yeah. So it's like, she's kind of just watching out for him, not stalking.
Yeah.
Well, she does follow him to the tower, but to, like, provide with substance, you know?
She doesn't follow him to the tower. That's
a little bit.
He lives there. She goes to visit him. So, look, I view Sally as someone who is an abuse victim.
Right.
Of Dr. Finklestein, her creator. Obviously, like, Sally's meant to be, like, Frankenstein. Frankenstein's monster, sorry.
Yeah.
Dr. Finklestein is Frankenstein.
Duh.
And so, like, he basically views her as an extension of himself. Like, we all know the "you're mine, you know, I made you" quote. Like, he doesn't let her do anything. So when Sally realizes Jack is also depressed, although, in my opinion, it's a very different type of depression. I view her as, like, when she goes to, like, give him that bottle or that basket, like with the butterfly bottle and all that stuff. Like, I feel it's just her, like, okay, like, I want to go give him this gift just to, like, do something nice for him, but I don't want to actually, like, spend time with him right now because I'm a fucking abuse victim and I'm not ready for, like, that type of relationship at the moment.
Right.
Like, I just want to know that, like, he has, like, a nice thing.
Yes. Also, like, going off what you said, wanting him to have a nice thing, because she kind of knows what it's like to not feel that way or not have those nice things. So,
yeah,
kind of giving a little bit of herself just to make somebody else feels good.
Exactly. Yeah, because she's used to being forced to give all of herself, basically.
But this is her willingly doing it.
Right. It's something that she can do of her own volition and her own choice.
Yes. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Because abuse victims usually don't have control over their life at all. So, like, it's a big thing for her to be able to do that. Like, when she jumps out of the window, like, you can see in her expression that she is, like happy to be doing that. Like, it's not, like, a upsetting thought to her, like, all right, I might get hurt jumping out this window. She's like, okay, this is a choice that I'm making right now.
Right, and, like, it also tells you what someone is willing to do to get away.
Yeah.
Which is jump out a window and, you know, have all your limbs detached just for a second.
I mean, we're obviously not condoning jumping out of a window, but Sally's already dead and is a master seamstress and can sew her body back together. So
yeah,
it's a little bit different in this scenario.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Just you're right, exactly. Yeah, and she has to, like, keep going back to Dr. Finklestein. Like, in one of the first scenes that we see her, like, she detaches her arm when he grabs her to, like, run away, and she has to go back to get her arm in the same way that, like, abusers tend to hold things like money over their victims. Like usually, like, they won't, like, victims won't have, like, their own bank account.
Right.
So they can't, like, go get their own place, like, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want to be there. He locks her away in a tower. She flinches when he's yelling at her.
He's an abuser. He is just an abuser, Dr. Finklestein. And there's, like, no other way of seeing the movie without seeing how abusive he is towards Sally. But the thing that bothers me the most about it is that nobody else notices it. And it's one of those things that when
but that's
somebody
real.
who's an abuser, it's like, this person's doing it, and they're all like, well, he's not that way with me, so it can't be true.
But that's real. Jack goes and asks him for advice and to build those reindeer and stuff, like, as if Dr. Finkelstein's a good guy.
Right.
That's fucking real. People don't call out abusers if they're helping them.
Yeah, and I guess he's kind of like a father figure, right? I would say, like, an abusive father figure, most of all. Especially the I made you part.
Yes.
Because I'm sure parents have said that to their kids.
Yeah, it's not like my parents aren't quite like that, but my mom definitely views me as an extension of her, and has literally said, like, she made me, like, I came from her, like, so I have to, like, do the things she wants me to do. You know what I mean? I don't know. I have very strong feelings about how, like, children do not owe their parents for being born.
Right.
You owe your parents respect if your parents are respecting you.
Yeah, and I can understand a parent, like, saying, I made you when maybe, like, their kid does something super terrible. But, like, if I'm, like, if I'm, like, you know, for example, not drinking the tea you made me because it tastes bad, and you're saying, like, I'm so offended that you won't drink my tea because I made you. I'm like, that's a little over dramatic.
Are you talking about your mother right now?
No, I would never.
But, like, no, going off of that, the whole I made you thing, I mean, I know we're not necessarily talking about parenting, but I think a hard thing for a lot of parents to understand, especially, like, my mother growing up, is, yes, you made this child, but they're entirely their own entity. Mm-hmm. Yes, your DNA is in them as long as with the other person you, like, had this child with, but they have their own likes, dislikes, personalities, and that's Sally. She's not like him, and she does not want to be like him, and he needs to learn how to let that go and let her be her own person.
Yeah.
So what does he do? He creates a creation that is exactly like him.
Oh my god. They literally use half his brain too.
Oh my god. It's so weird. So weird.
Yeah.
So what were you saying about Sally?
She's trying to tell him that like she basically needs more freedoms, and I feel like she's trying to say like, you know, she would enjoy, or like she would be able to live there and like help him with whatever he needs help with, like if he could just like give her some freedoms.
Right.
But he's like, no, it's a phase, like you just need more punishments.
Ugh. Yeah.
I've also heard sorry. I've been listening to a lot of critiques of the movie, and I do agree with a lot of them, but I don't agree with critiques of Sally a lot of the time, because like another critique I heard is like, oh, like, well, Sally is just like, you know, always sees like the domesticated side of Sally and this and that. And it's like, yeah, but she doesn't want to be that. She's forced to cook and clean for him.
Right. Yeah.
Like she doesn't want to be doing that.
Why else would she be poisoning him? Oh,
that's so domestic poisoning.
Like,
if you can't make your own poison, store-bought poison is just fine.
it's like, well, it's like basically like the movie is only showing the domesticated sides of Sally, and it's like because she's an abuse victim who is being forced to do these domesticated things.
Right,
like we don't get to see these other things that she wants to do because she's not getting to do them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and we do get to see her like make like premonitions and stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, she's a little witchy, which I love.
But yeah, Dr. Finklestein,
the worst.
Yeah.
The worst.
Yeah, he's a narcissist with a god complex.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yes. So other characters within the movie, the mayor, or the two-faced man. It's really weird that he does that, where he's literally like, what is that movie called? The Exorcist?
Oh.
Where he's like spinning his head around.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of when I saw the mayor. I was like, oh.
What was your opinion when you first saw him? Because the very, very first time I saw this movie, I thought he was going to be like a villain.
I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought... Okay, so this is weird. I really liked the mayor's character, and I didn't really see too many... Like, he didn't have the best traits possible. But I enjoyed him. I think I liked him a lot because he was always so frazzled and, like, super high anxiety. And I'm like, oh my god, that's kind of like me. And he's like, I need help. Somebody, do this. Jack, I need you. And I enjoyed that. I thought he was funny.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that they're either trying to depict someone with bipolar or maybe DID or something with, like, multiple personalities. Like, the only depictions that I saw of that as a kid in movies, they always ended up being, like, villainized.
Right.
So immediately when I saw this, I was like, oh, I guess this is going to be, like, one of the villains. So I like that he didn't end up being a villain.
Okay.
Because, like, oh, okay, he's just, like, really anxious. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting because I watched it with my friend and she, like, commented on him being, like, a two-faced politician, basically. Yes. But, like, I don't think it's as sinister as that because because the other face of a politician isn't anxiety. It's, you know what I mean? It's like...
It's a liar.
Yeah, it's a liar. It's like a greedy person. And that's not necessarily what he's portraying here, I don't think.
No.
I think it's more like how Tim Burton sometimes tries to make these social criticisms, but almost always fails at them. Like,
is that what is he trying to do? I guess.
Like, I think he is trying to be like, political leaders tend to be two-faced.
But that's not exactly what he's showing.
I know, because Tim Burton tends to not actually be successful at showing social criticisms. He tends to like give like a taste of it and then like kind of.
He missed the mark if that's what he was going for, because this mayor actually seemed like he cared about the town and wanted Halloween Town to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard people say before that he's like the perfect organizer for like a social justice organization.
Why?
Because he's like the day after like the movement you're doing is over, he's like, he's like, okay, ready for the next one, let's go.
That's funny. I love that.
Yeah, no, but I really like the mayor because he's like one side is like the face he has to show the public, like, okay, super positive, and then a second later he's like, Why?
This is exactly what we talk about where we're at a convention and we literally change our face at the last second when no one's looking or when we're super anxious or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the actual setting and about Halloween Town and, by extension, the rest of the towns. But like, I'm trying to think because Jack made Christmas terrifying, but do the kids also get that? Do they actually get that terrifying stuff during the Halloween season? Is that, you know what I mean?
That's what I wanted to know. That's a good question because I never thought about it that way.
Is it terrifying because it's happening on Christmas and not Halloween?
It could be that.
Well, I don't think that these kids. I don't think that the kids are receiving like presents on Halloween.
No.
There's like a lot of theories that Halloween Town is the afterlife. And
okay.
Which I wholeheartedly disagree with.
Okay.
I
don't understand how, like, for example, where is Jack coming from when he comes in at the first movie? In the first scene of the movie.
So I believe that on Halloween, the members of Halloween Town can enter the real world.
Okay.
Just like how on Christmas, like Santa can enter the real world to like deliver all the gifts. So like my reason for thinking this is because like, for one, he like doesn't know what Christmas Town or all these other holidays are. So obviously they're not entering the real world the rest of the year. And also, if they had died and this is the afterlife, wouldn't they know what all these holidays are?
True.
Also, like, at this point, though, they should know what Christmas is because people are putting up decorations by Halloween at this point.
Wow.
Maybe not in this fictional world.
That's thinking a little... I
mean, also, I am listening to Christmas music right now. I'm sorry. I'm listening to Wham. Like, what do you...
Okay, well then there should also be like a Hanukkah land and stuff, but there isn't because there's only Christian holidays in this fucking movie. But anyway,
I agree with that.
So I think that the different lands are basically like the Easter Bunny land, Ben was like, what is this? Just like an all Christian land? And I was like, no, I think it's literally a bunch of bunnies and and make maybe chickens, and they're like, the chickens are producing eggs all year and the bunnies are collecting them, and then on Easter the bunnies like go into the world and distribute the eggs like for the Easter egg hunts. And like I think Christmas land is like all year the elves are like making the toys, and then on Christmas Santa goes in and distributes the toys. And I think on Halloween all year they're prepping for like what scares they're gonna make on Halloween, and then on Halloween they get to go and make their scares, and every year Jack makes the most scares, and that is why he is the king of Halloween Town, because he like wins their like essentially like their contest of like Our Real Monsters.
Yes. No. Yes, I remember that show. Our Real Monsters. It was like an old show on Nickelodeon.
All Real Monsters, they have to go into or
Monsters Inc.
Yes, thank you. Or Monsters Inc. For a more current like they have to go and they have to collect screams basically.
I think this is obvious to me. Like, I don't think there's any question about that.
I agree, but this is not a theory that most people think. Most people think that it's the afterlife.
But that doesn't make any sense.
I agree, that doesn't make any sense. I just think that the place that he scares is as a pumpkin. Like, I think he's just like that. Like, that's his scare post. Like he is like a scarecrow type pumpkin, and that's how he's scaring people on Halloween. It's like what we're seeing when we go into the door is Jack basically entering back into Halloween Town.
Yes.
And then the opening scene is just like their parade. Like, yeah, we did it. Good job, guys. Like, we have a year to prepare for next year.
Okay, yes. Okay. Yeah, it seems like that's a fact to me. That's all. You know what I mean?
Well, good.
Like, what else could it be? You know what I mean? Like, it could be a combination of that and is the afterlife.
I don't think it's the afterlife. The theory is that people think that these characters all died, and there are different ways that the characters died. Mm-hmm. Like, Jack burned to death, and, like, Oogie Boogie was skinned, and
oh my God,
was found days later, and, like, like sewed it, and like in the afterlife he used burlap sack to like sew his body, and that's how it holds all the bugs. I don't know, just like, and like and like Lock, Shock, and Barrel were like one was drowned, one was
Oh my God.
Froze to death, and one was like, I don't know. They don't know.
So I think these are like quote unquote fun theories. I can't call them that fun. But like
these are theories that most people think that the members of Halloween Town died, and now this is the afterlife. And I'm like, it's such a small amount of beings. Why would it be the afterlife?
Right. I mean, I just say let people think what they want to think. People love doing fan theories nowadays. Like,
oh yeah, I just want to talk about our theories.
Yeah. But like I said before, they must be fucking terrifying because they go in, they do terrify everybody, and it's because it's Christmas that they don't expect it. If it was Halloween, would they expect to be that terrified, I guess, is the question?
I would assume not. Not looking for scares on Christmas.
No, I mean,
no, she means on, yes, I think on Halloween, like the kids in the real world are like, oh, it's a skeleton. I don't think that they necessarily realize it's a real skeleton. I think it's more like stuff of nightmares. But then again, I don't know, because this is a world where people believe Santa is real.
Right.
Like the adults believe Santa is real.
I mean, he is real.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, in the world he is.
Look, Ben and I are the only Reichmans in Texas, so I'm not going to comment here on Santa being real. But we have the only blue lights in the neighborhood in December. So.
They believe in Santa Claus. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's okay. You can believe whatever you want to believe. But I'm just saying...
Wait, do you actually believe in Santa Claus?
No, I'm not. I'm saying in the context of these movies, the adults really believe in Santa Claus.
Okay.
I mean, he could exist. He's just not giving me presents.
Because you're a bad girl.
Yeah, but seriously. So this is a world where, like, it's like, okay, Santa is real.
Right.
Yes.
So theoretically, I guess people could be like, oh my God, that skeleton is real.
Yeah, that's interesting. But it's almost like a fairy tale land.
Yeah,
right.
The real world is almost like a fairy tale land.
Yeah.
Yes.
So back to what you said about Oogie Boogie being skinned alive. I thought he was the Candy Man. You don't remember that movie?
Yeah,
I remember that movie because it traumatized me as a child, and I want to go back and watch it. But I want to watch it in the daytime with somebody next to me.
Yeah.
What is Candy Man? Like, what's his
I
thing?
don't even remember, but all I remember is him being consumed by insects and bees, and he's just like...
Is he made of insects and bees?
No, I think he was a real person. Look, I watched this movie as a child, and I should not have been watching this movie.
Yeah, I remember Candyman as well.
Do you remember what it was about?
I don't, but I know his face had, like, bees and stuff all over it for some reason.
So kind of bug.
Even though I'm gonna say bees are great, and demonizing bees for some reason.
Okay. Well, that was the 1990s.
Yes. So he was a murderer.
Oh, okay.
Was he like a supernatural character?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like you had to summon him.
Yes.
The Candyman actor was black, though, right? Which is, like, that's kind of interesting because there weren't that many, like, horror movies where the lead was black.
Yeah, I think Jordan Peele is doing a remake of it for next year.
Oh, yeah,
Whoa.
he is.
Yes, but I'm reading the little, like, blurb about it.
I hope he uses wasps and not bees.
Oh, yeah, wasps,
He's Jordan Peele, I'm sure
are awful. But it says... The focus of this movie was on themes of race, social class, and inner city states. And I'm like... Or inner city United States. Now I'm like, oh, maybe I should rewatch this movie. But again, in the daytime with somebody.
Maybe Jenny.
I don't do scary movies.
Same.
That's fair.
Don't like
I know that you guys don't because you wouldn't do an episode on us.
Anyway.
They took one of my favorite hip-hop songs and made it creepy. How?
I know. Ben plays it on the trumpet all the time.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I'll send it to you as a belated birthday present.
I don't know about that.
Yes.
I'm talking about Arkeida.
I don't know about that for Arkeida.
I'll
Anyway.
watch it one day.
Anyway, so Oogie Boogie.
Did you find him scary as a child?
I found him off-putting.
Okay.
I found him attractive.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's a sack of bugs.
I found Jack attractive.
He's so skinny, though.
Yup. I was very goth.
That's why I was like, Jack is like, he's not like that scary. I thought like there's much scarier things in Halloween Town, so I was
Oogie's charming, though.
He's charming. He's got a nice voice. He's protective.
Of what?
What? I don't know that one.
I don't know why the attraction was there, but I was attracted to Oogie Boogie. Or Oogie Boogie.
Okay, well, not so fun fact. Oogie Boogie is the only black voice actor in Night Before Christmas, Kevin Page, other than the Undersea Gal. The Undersea Gal has, like 3 lines or something. I think all in song.
I don't even know who that is.
She's like the green character that's like in the lagoon, like
yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's obviously voiced by a black actor.
He is he's like very coded. Like his lair is obviously like meant to be New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And he's the villain. Right. He's the villain of the movie, and he's the only black voice actor with like a prominent role in the movie. Yep. That is a problem. Like, a big problem. So, Tim Burton, I mean, I loved this movie. I mean, I still love this movie. I stopped caring about his movies at some point when I was younger, when I was like, these are getting real white. These are just...
No, they weren't. I think I noticed it when I was graduating high school, because I grew up watching Tim Burton movies. Not grew up, but like they were something I watched frequently in my childhood, and I think around the time that Sweeney Todd came out, and don't get me wrong,
that was one of the last ones that I watched, and then I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore.
Yeah, I think that was it, and I was like, I love Sweeney Todd. I loved the musical. I also love Helena Bonham Carter, but I saw it and I was like, I'm getting a little tired of this, because it's like, at the time I was very emo, so I was like, yeah, I wear black too, like, why are there no black people in black?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Tim Burton, after making Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, was basically called out on the fact that he really only casts pale white actors. Mm-hmm. I know Sam Jackson was cast in that movie.
Yes.
He made up the role for him. But Sam Jackson is also a huge star.
Right.
So that's basically saying, okay, I'll cast a black actor if he already is very, very prominent. So this was in 2016. Tim Burton's response was, nowadays, people are talking about it more. Things either call for things or they don't. I remember back when I was a child watching The Brady Bunch, and they started to get all politically correct. Okay, let's have an Asian child and a black. I used to get more offended by that than just, I grew up watching blaxploitation movies, right? I said, that's great. I didn't okay, there should be more white people in these movies. What the fuck?
Not only is it nonsense.
That quote where, or not even a quote, where it's like, a Pokemon hurt itself trying to... I think you hurt yourself. That's literally my response to all internet trolls now when they're not making good sense.
He said he used blaxploit. It's in the fucking name, blaxploitation.
But also blaxploitation movies have white people in them.
Yeah,
has he seen a blaxploitation movie? Because they have white people in them,
and they're called black exploitation movies.
It's you can hear the stupidity in his quote in my voice as I'm reading that. Just what do I say? What do I say? How do I make this better? I know by making it worse.
So many of his movies I really enjoyed as a child. And it's like, I can't go on supporting a man that doesn't see Black people in this lens, because we exist in day-to-day life. Like, we exist in this world. Also, that I remember specifically when this movie was coming out and he created this role for Samuel Jackson. He was the villain in it, and I was like,
yeah. Only put Black people in the movie for the villain.
Sir, why are all the white people innocent and the one Black person the villain?
I'm sorry, it is racist to only put Black people in your movies if they are the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Also, white people really need to stop caring so much about being called racist and, like, actually caring about how Black people feel. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, he needs a PR person who's going to answer questions for him if that's going to be his answer.
Yes. But also to say things like, things started getting politically correct. Like, let's have an Asian and let's have a black. A black, first of all. And then, like, what's politically correct about having a diverse cast when in reality the world is diverse?
I have heard people defend him and be like, what he means is basically like, during these time periods, it didn't make sense to just put in that character just to put in that character. Like,
sorry.
Like if he had put in just like random Black characters during that like that era, like they weren't there then or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
I'm sorry, I watched Poldark, and the last season we had a Black lady, and I was like, yes, Kitty Despard, fuck it up. If you could have a Black woman in an 1800s period drama, you damn fucking well can have it now. Or in whatever Tim Burton movies made.
Like, also, when he was a child is also different than when he was making movies, than when he's making movies now. You know what I mean? Like,
this was in 2016.
Exactly.
2016. I don't know. It's funny because, like, I view Nightmare Before Christmas with so much nostalgia. Like I said, literally, husband and I dressed as this for our wedding. Like, it's, it sucks to have to, like, watch this movie and be like, man, fuck Tim Burton. but like
for real though.
But like,
it's hard. It's right. You think about these conversations about whether you can still like something when you think about the context of who's in it and who made it, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's like, can we watch a Kevin Spacey movie and still like it?
I can't watch it. I can't watch his movies anymore. And he was one of my favorite actors.
Which, yeah,
but I'm just like, nope,
that's a bummer.
I'm just never gonna rewatch any of his movies.
Kevin Spacey was accused of,
oh Lord.
Kevin Spacey, did. I'm not gonna say the word accused. Kevin Spacey did. Go ahead. Sorry. Continue.
Of sexual assault, basically.
Oh.
Yeah.
Of a bunch of young men.
Yeah, pretty young men. And, like, I've heard stories about people just meeting him in general and him having a very sexual and like touchy-feely relationship with even meeting strangers. So, like, I'm not surprised by it at all. But sucks a lot because a lot of people liked him. He
was one of like the biggest A-list celebrities that came out during like the beginning of the Me Too movement, I would say. That people were like really upset about. Well,
and when you say came out, you mean like what was
okay. No, I mean both.
Because it came out.
It came out that this happened, and it also he came out and said that he is gay and used that to defend his violent actions.
Right, he was trying to get the community to get behind him. When I'm like, of course they're not gonna get behind you. Why would they?
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, so it's hard.
It's like a little off track, but definitely on track. It's just like, yeah, so like basically it's like, it's very different to like watch these movies with a critical lens, which is what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to watch these movies with like, from a mental health perspective and also a critical perspective. And like, I don't know if you guys listen to the Bechdel cast, but it's basically ruining all of my favorite movies. to have to listen to it and be like, okay, yep, there were like no conversations between two women in this movie.
Yeah, and like at the same time, like that, it's hard because like obviously we don't want to sap all the joy from our favorite movies, you know? Like even if we can still like a movie that doesn't have women talking. We need to acknowledge that and also move forward and do better.
Yes.
Honestly, I did not know that Oogie Boogie was voiced by a black man. And I was just seeing it as nostalgia and how much I loved it. And I also really didn't I think growing up, I really just didn't know anything about New Orleans. I didn't realize that was like a New Orleans thing, and I was rewatching it and I still, like, me personally, I didn't notice that, but like now that it's pointed out, I do see that, and I do see why it's super problematic within Tim Burton's films.
Yeah, so I noticed for the first time ever when rewatching this for this episode that like the opening, like the mouth opening that they shove Santa Claus down, that the Lock, Shock, and Barrel shove Santa Claus down, the opening to Oogie Boogie's lair is like, it's like a black voodoo mask.
Yikes!
Like if you go rewatch it, it's a black voodoo mask. It has teeth, it has eyes, and like a little like flame hair. Like it's a black voodoo mask. And I'm like,
yikes!
I just remember like being like a freshman in high school, where watching this movie and like loving the movie and getting to Oogie Boogie and being like, something feels so wrong about this character, and I don't know what it is.
I've never paid attention to that before.
He's like rolling dice and like
it does pull a lot from African. Wow. Oh, okay. I never noticed this. I also never looked at it that hard.
I mean, you wanted to enjoy him.
It's not even that I didn't look at it that hard. Sometimes I really just don't pay attention to movies, because last night I was watching it and I was definitely like on my phone and doing a bunch of other things.
Yeah, but you also like you want to be able to enjoy things.
Yeah,
like and like everything. Like I don't want to like necessarily speak for you, but like as a black woman, like shit like this is shoved in your face all the time. You want to be able to just fucking enjoy something.
Yeah, I feel like it's a bad thing to say. Like at some point you get jaded and you're just like, whatever.
Well, there's that Onion article title that was like, feminist takes break from being a feminist to enjoy a TV show. I'm like, yeah, sometimes you gotta.
Yeah.
But I wanted to also like move on to talking about how we viewed Jack before might be different from how we view Jack now through our older lens, and we think about his actions and the way that he kind of treats the whole culture of Christmas, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Jack is actually the other villain in this movie.
Oh, absolutely he is. That's when I first saw this, he was like, out of everyone who was a villain, like I didn't see the mayor as the villain, but I was like, Jack, don't do this. Like he
While I don't think they necessarily say everything he does is okay, because you can tell that like they're saying he's on the wrong side of things when he says things like Christmas is for everyone, but most importantly me. Yeah. You know, like we know that the movie's trying to say no. That's not true. But it feels like more of a, isn't he like, isn't that funny, Jack?
Yeah.
Isn't that adorable? Yeah. But we're kind of more like, no, that's fucked up.
Yeah. Real quick, I didn't think the mayor was a villain. I just, my brain, just the second I saw him, thought this guy's going to be a villain, because I was so used to bipolar people being coded as villains. But yeah, no, 100%, Jenny. 100%.
Right. It's not taking us seriously. It's not like a cute mistake. It's super traumatic for the kids who that happened to.
As with a lot of instances in cultural appropriation, because all it's doing is causing trauma to the people that it's for.
Yeah, like I want to see a movie from the real world perspective. Like when I say the real world, I mean, you know, the world where the holidays visit. Like where like these kids are going through like trauma counseling from receiving like a fucking like severed head. And then having it replaced with a puppy as if it didn't happen.
Right. And when like, especially when normal looking objects turn into like
Killer
terrifying things. Yeah. You're gonna have trauma from thinking that other things will probably turn into things that will try to kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep, like the wreath into the snake. And like the
Exactly. You're like, oh no, I fucking hate wreaths now. Like, everyone is gonna turn into a snake.
Yeah. Or I guess the wreath doesn't turn into a snake. I guess the snake is like around the tree or something. But either way.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean. Like,
either way, yeah.
You're never gonna open a present again without thinking, oh no, there might be a severed head in here. Like, it's bad.
Yeah. I mean, like, let's be clear. Like, Jack is a privileged white man who thinks he could take over anyone else's job and that he could do a better job of it.
Yep.
And then when he colossally fucks up, he doesn't actually apologize for it. He sings the whole song about how great he is and how, like, you know, how he feels bad about fucking up and how he hopes he can, like, make things right before, like, Christmas is over. But he doesn't actually apologize to Santa.
Right, and he literally says, just because I can't see it doesn't mean I can't believe it, so I don't understand it, but I'm still gonna use it, and I'm still gonna wear all this stuff and give out presents like I know what I'm doing. It's crazy.
And he's still celebrated at the end, like only a white man could be.
No, I'm sorry, Jack, he is not invited to the cookout. All I have to say... Sally could come.
I was gonna say it's Sally.
Jack can sit his ass home.
Well, basically, at least he goes back to his lane. You know?
Where
like,
he should
all right,
stay.
Halloween is what I can do well.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, he just... And then, like the whole town is just, like, pumping Jack up. Like he's like it's a frat party, just like, yeah, Jack, you can do it. Like, do that keg stand, like which he like does on the coffin, like full of toys. Meanwhile, Sally is just like, oh my god, maybe I can't be with this dude because he won't fucking listen to any type of reason.
Right, and I find her to be a lot like the Ophelia figure because she's the fortune teller who no one believes, and that's such a tragic figure in my mind. And like no one actually ever listens to her. They just find out from fucking up so badly that they like realize it. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I wonder if after they like, you know, get dead people married, if he like still is just like, oh, I'm just not gonna believe her, and I guarantee after they like end up, you know, simply meant to be together, he still doesn't believe her premonitions and still pulls this shit. I guarantee.
Yes, we have to wait for Nightmare Before Christmas 2 to find out.
No, I don't need to see that, but
anything else?
No, but I do like that Santa was just like, listen to Sally, you fucking moron.
Also, I mean, if you're going to say you can do XYZ better, or you're going to say, I would love to try this, why not go to the town and ask before just being like, let me do this? Because they would have told you from the start it's a bad idea. Would he have listened? I do not think so. Absolutely not. I'm talking about Jack.
Yeah, I know.
Also, if you're feeling at all like Jack or Sally, maybe seek out some help, just because if you're in any kind of abusive relationship like Sally was for the majority of her, or from the beginning of her life, because she was created by Dr. Finklestein, there are services out there that will help you gain financial stability, independence, and ways to get away from your abuser, so that way, like, they set it up so that way you are independent on your own and you don't have to go back, because they do hold that power over you. That's the reason why they keep getting you to come back.
For real. Yeah. Which is why Halloween Town's a problem, because it's a true patriarchy where the only doctor is a man, the mayor is a man, the main, like, king celebrity person is a man. Sally has nowhere to turn.
Yeah.
Really doesn't. I mean, there's the
and there is no therapist.
There is no therapist. Sally's the therapist because she's the woman, so she does all the emotional labor.
Oh, shit. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Good times.
Yes. Don't do emotional labor for anybody that's not willing to put anything in for you. Tell them to fuck off. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
That's just my closing thought is don't put in emotional labor unless they're paying you. Or send them Venmo requests.
Or, I mean, if you want to do emotional labor for people, you can, but...
Usually, yeah.
But
usually it's an exchange.
Make your boundaries clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll get real tired real fast.
Mm-hmm. All right, so thanks so much for listening. Please take a moment to subscribe, review, and rate us. It's the easiest way to help support our podcast. This week's review comes from SZDZS.
I thought that was Sid's.
Nope. On Apple Podcasts. She says, these folks are a gem to listen to. This is such a super interesting niche of pop culture to discuss, and the hosts do a wonderful job of tackling these issues. I'm also always happy to hear more from fellow WOCs.
If you want to chat with us about the episode, our social medias are Fandom and Wellness on Instagram,
Fandom and Wellness on Facebook,
and Fandom Wellness on Twitter. You can also find me at Classy Rebel Design on Instagram.
and me at The Box of Shadows.
and me at Little Petal, all on Instagram.
And if you want bonus content, you can join our fandom family at patreon.com/fandomandwellness for Patreon exclusive geek sessions.
And remember, be kind and take no shit.
From scrawny white boys.
Nice job, Bone Daddy!